Hello, it's Kylie Bertucci, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia here with you. And today I am going to be talking about card layouts. Sometimes they can be known as like sketches, card sketches. But basically, once you have a layout, it helps so much in your creative process. It will help unlock countless ideas, like unlimited ideas of what you can do. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. I will be highlighting my card templates today. If you don't have them, the link will be below here on YouTube. And it just helps you to see visually exactly what you're wanting to create and what layers will be the best for the type of stamp set that you're using. So what I've done today is actually used one stamp set, and I've gone back to the annual catalogue because we sometimes forget the annual catalogue when the holiday catalogue comes out. It's this one here called Tasteful Textures. Now, it is a fantastic stamp set, particularly for beginners because of the fact that it has images as well as sentiments. And this great image here can sort of be made to be masculine or feminine too, which is always good to have something that is neutral and has good sentiments in it. And these have some fantastic sentiments, which is great. So what I have done is I'll show you exactly what I've done here so far, but I have made 5 cards so far. We're going to make our 6th card, and these cards are using the exact same layout. So here we go. Here are our 5 cards, and we've got one more to add to this. So I'll show you each one. And as you can see, each has the same layout. This is probably the only one that has a different layer because I've added a Whisper White behind this panel here. So that one's just a little additional layer, and then that actually is a latest update. That is the Petal Pink layer, that one. That's how I've used that. And I'll explain the layers. If you haven't got my card templates, you'll be like, that isn't Petal Pink, Kylie, that's Whisper White. I will explain what I mean by my measurements. I actually put them in color coding because it's a lot easier than numbering them because I keep adding more layers. So it's good having them in color code rather than number code. So that one there. So as you can see, just slight little differences, like this one here. It has got the little border across and the embossing, and all the same stamp set. The whole thing is using the exact same stamp set. So when you see that you can just make so many different types of cards, different colors, different look to the card, but use the same stamp set, it's really cool. It unlocks a lot of ideas because then you can stick to just that one set and then keep making a number of cards that have a slight different look but are all kind of the same. They're same but different. Look at this one. Look how different this one looks. And it's because we've done it on the Night of Navy with the embossing. Wow, that really pops. It looks so gorgeous with the embossing. In fact, I think we might have to do some more embossing in this video. I wasn't going to, but you know, like I always like to do, just change things up. Make things a little bit more difficult for me. And I love this one with the purple posy and the gorgeous grape. So this one was Rococo Rose with the, what did I add it with? I'm trying to think of the 2 colors. It'll come to me. But that one there's definitely Rococo, or is that Rococo? Look at me, I'm like, who even knows? No, that one there's Rococo, and this one here is it the new one? No, it's not terracotta. Look at me, I'm like, come on, what color are you? Nah, it's not coming to me. It'll come later. I'll have a look. Costa Cabana and Bermuda Bay, and of course a monochrome with mint macaron. And I love how I've got all the different like embellishments too. Like this has got pearls. This one didn't have anything, but these had the gorgeous faceted gems. Some more pearls on this one. I put them here in the middle there. Pearls on that one. Gorgeous. I think we'll use pearls again today. That's going to be good. And then I can have a look at what that other color is. Why am I not seeing it? I'm looking at it going, I know what colors they are, but I don't. I've got it. It came to me. It came to me. So Rococo Rose and Blushing Bride. All right, we're there. Don't message me with the color. What color was it, Kylie? I don't even know. I don't even know. Don't listen to a word I'm saying. So here are our card templates. How do they work and what do they mean, Kylie Bertucci? I'm confused. So what these card templates do is they help us to not only unlock the measurements that we need for each layer, they're also a visual aid to help us decide how we want to lay out our card. So this particular card here, I've actually used these layers here. So we have the card base, which has written on it card base, gorgeous grape. And I'm not showing the measurements because they're different in every country and depending on what measurement you use too. Because here in Australia, we use A4 cardstock. Canada and the US use letter cardstock and they use it with inches, whereas some people use A4 cardstock with inches and some use A4 cardstock with metric. So it's super confusing, but we've unlocked the measuring confusion by using these templates. So when I say to you, use your gorgeous grape size for your base, the next layer, which is the Whisper White layer, is the Melon Mambo base. It doesn't matter what country you're in, where you're from, you know what that measurement is for you personally. So it just saves me having to convert everything every time. It means that no matter where you are in the world, you know what my measurements are and what I've used. It just makes life easier for me and you, for everyone. So they are our layers. Now, what I love about these card templates is it just helps you to see, you know, what do I want to use? Where do I want to begin? What do I want this layer to be? Is this layer here going to be designer series paper? It just gives you like this creative start. You can sort of begin and go, am I going to stamp my own background or am I going to have a designer series paper background? And then am I going to continue layering or am I going to just put a sentiment straight away? You can sort of work out exactly how many layers you would like and what you want it to look like. Particularly if you have smaller images, it's always good to use them as a background and have a number of them. Or what you want to do is create a focal point. You want something to make it a smaller layer so that image can sit nicely within that layer. So I have used, on majority of these cards, I used the Wisteria Wonder and the Mint Macaron layer. So that is every single layer, every single card I've used these colors, except for the Mint Macaron one, which is that one there, where I added the Petal Pink layer, and that's a brand new layer. If you haven't had those updates sent to you, please message me or email me because you get the updates for free for life once you purchase the card templates, which are $5 US, which I think is about 50 cents, $5 Australian, which is about 50 cents US. Kidding, joke. I don't know how much it is, but it's probably like $3 or something because the Australian dollar is so bad. So yes, and that just means we can keep the updates coming, and if you have a request of any type, let me know. Someone mentioned it'd be good to have the date on the PDF. Brilliant idea. Thank you for that suggestion. I will be adding that. But yeah, it'll just help us to visualize exactly what we want and just to get an idea before we begin. Now, the other cool thing about the card templates is once you've worked out your layers, then all the hard work is done for you, because then you just have to flip it over, or wherever you've written the measurements on there, you can just basically start cutting straight away. There's no guesswork. You know that those measurements are going to fit. They are going to sit right on the card. They are going to line up the way that you want them to line up, and there's no more, it takes all the guesswork out of it, which is what you want. No more guessings, no more cutting and then, I've cut too much, and so on. I understand, I used to do this. So it will help unlock that as well. And just the visual aid, I think that for me, that really helped me to understand the measurements in my country and for what I use, and to get the most out of my cardstock, because I have heard of a lot of demonstrators that will cut their A4 cardstock the same size as what they use in the States, and then you're wasting a lot of cardstock, because you really should be getting 2 card bases out of 1 sheet of your cardstock in your country. That is how you just cut it in half, and that is how it should work for you in your country. If it's not, then definitely review your measurements, because you don't want to waste cardstock. I mean, you're welcome to cut them the size of the US size if you're not in the US, but you are doing yourself a little bit of a disservice with how much cardstock you're using. So let's jump on in and make a card, because it's fun. If you have any other questions about the card templates, please don't hesitate to ask me, but you will absolutely love them. Like, people who get them, and it is a tutorial, by the way. It is not the actual physical card templates that I send you. It's a tutorial for you to then cut all of it up yourself. And that's good, because then you get an idea of how it all works, and then it means I can sell them, because otherwise I wouldn't have enough time. I'd be like posting all my life. So as I said, cut it in half. I like to cut mine lengthways, but that's just a personal preference. The way that you can cut it is, usually most people would do it the other way, but widthways rather than lengthways. So, but I like cutting it that way, because my photos, it comes out nicer for my photos, because I can show a little bit of the inside. Okay, so that's our base. We're doing the Blackberry Bliss to begin with. Now, our next layer is going to be Whisper White. Now, that size is your Melon Mambo size. I just want to make sure I've got yes. So we want Melon Mambo size, and I've got a little bit of cardstock here, Whisper White cardstock cut down. So I want it to go, I won't say measurements, because as I said, it's different in every country and you all use different measurements. So just make sure you got your Melon Mambo size. There we go. Then our next size is going to be Flirty Flamingo size, and I'm going to cut that out. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to cut that out in the Rich Razzleberry, I believe. Do I want it in that? Yes, I do. So I will cut that in half first. I always find cutting my cardstock in half is just a good place. Same with the designer series paper. Cutting it in half is just a really good place to start. And then I want to do it this size. And the other thing that you can do with your templates too, so say I've just cut that in half. Now what you can do, because a lot of people will go, well, where do I cut it now? But have a look at this piece of cardstock and have a look at your template. So if you're confused about which way to cut so that you're getting the most out of your designer series paper, you just have to try both ways. So we have this way, and then we could try this way. And all of a sudden you have unlocked, you're like, oh, I'm clearly going to be able to get 2 out of this one sheet. Whereas if I cut it this way, I'm only going to get 1. So you can see how visually it just helps you to fully understand how to get the most out of your cardstock. That's another awesome thing about these card templates. So we need that one. Okay, so that's those cut. Looking good so far. So pretty. And see how it's all lined up. And we're talking like really small layers here. And normally you probably wouldn't play around with layers like that because you'd be too scared that you're not going to get them right. Well, you can feel confident that you're going to get them right because we've done all the mental work for you. It's like my brain's hurting trying to work out these layers. And I love it for doing tutorials because then I can work out exactly what size I need to transfer it or change it over. Now, the next one I need to do is I've decided to do Whisper White and then the Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to use the Whisper White is going to be the Highland Heather layer. So cut your Whisper White down to Highland Heather. And if we look at this, you can see which way should I cut it? Well, that clearly isn't going to work. So I need to cut it this size, even though it's going to waste a lot of paper. it's the only way that it can cut. So the longest cut is going to be, you know which size then. So I've got that. And still keep those pieces because you might use them for little sentiments or things like that. I have like a little pack cello bag that I keep with all my extra pieces in it. Now we need some of this. So this last layer I'm doing in the Blackberry Bliss, and it's going to be my mint macaron size, okay, for that last layer. And again, I can get my mint macaron and just see, no, it's not going to fit that way, so I need to go in this direction. So I'll do a short one first. Actually, will that work? I need to do, no, long one. Long one this way. So it's good knowing that too, that you can sort of look at it and go, oh, okay, I have to cut it that way. I probably wouldn't have cut it that way, and then I would have wasted a whole heap of cardstock because I didn't cut it the way that it fit. And again, keep your little piece that's extra. So that's all our layers cut. So then you can basically just have a look here and make sure that everything's looking hunky-dory. And look at that. This is going to be just such an elegant card. It is going to be wowza. So what we can do now, we're going to stamp on our rich raspberry. And because it's quite a dark color already, there's two options that you could do. You could probably do some white embossing if you wanted to on there in the background. But I really want the white embossing to be on here and really pop. I want that to jump out. So I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss on the background, and it'll still show up, but it just won't be super, super strong, which is fine because it's a background. It's not meant to be the star of the show. It's like Calm the Farm, little rich raspberry. You're not the star. Now I've got my image here, the flowers, like this little image here at the bottom. And I'm going to stamp that. Now you could use the grunge piece as well. I'm just going to use these because I think they look great. And I'm not going to go too crazy with this. I want it to sort of have a little bit of white space. Let's test that out and see how it looks. So it'll be like this, and like this. So yeah, I actually like that. I think just having those little pieces there. If you wanted to, you could even grunge the outside with some sponge if you wanted to do that. Just going to move these card tape. I've got a little case here because I have all three measurements, the A4 inches, the inches with standard letter cardstock, or yeah, the standard cardstock for the US. I have all three different types, and so I keep them all in my wood mount case so that they're always there to grab. I literally use it every card I make. And even Bruno, when I first made them, he was like poo-hooing it. He was like, I don't know, what do you mean I have to cut it the way that the card templates are? Now I find out they're missing. Like, he uses them all the time. We both do. So you will find, I wanted one more. You will find that you use them quite a bit. A little bit there. I really like this background, so I'm just going to add a few more pieces in. Good. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to do our little sentiment and the image. Now I've decided to go quite elegant with this, and I'm going to use this beautiful one here. And we're going to use our embossing. So we just need embossing buddy just to get off any oils, anything that it's going to stick to, static, all that sort of thing. So I'll remove all that. Then we get our Versamark. And what we're going to do is, I'll show you here. Oh no, that seems okay. I think my Versamark needs a bit of a refill. I really want to leave enough room for my sentiment. So what I might do is actually do my sentiment first. So then I know exactly how close I can go to the base. Now, the way that I line up my measurement, my sentiments, is I get my block on my grid paper and line it up perfectly. Then I use my grid paper to sort of wiggle this around so that it's lined up as close as it can to straight. So that then when I'm about to do my sentiment, I'm looking at the block next to my grid paper. So I can sort of gauge, have an idea. If I looked at the stamp, I would have no idea what is straight and what isn't, but I can look at my block and get a much better idea of what is straight, so that you can see. You probably can't see that very well, but we'll put some embossing powder on that. But yeah, it just means that it's exactly in the spot that I want it to go. So that's my little tip if you want to use that. You can do the exact same thing on the Stamparatus. Just sort of wiggle it around on the grid, put it where you think it should go, and then move it around afterwards. So I'll just see how close I can get this. Yeah, that looks good there. Beautiful. That's so pretty. And then I'm just going to add one in the corner here and one in the corner here, because I loved it in my Bermuda base. So it's sort of, you know, I'm taking what I've already done, but just kind of changing it a little bit, like not much, but you watch, it'll just change the card, because I really liked this, but I didn't want to do the sentiment. I just wanted to add the sentiment down the bottom. So it's kind of the same, but at the same time very different. Like you'll look at this card and you'll go, oh my goodness, you would not think that that is the same layout, same card, same, maybe the same stamp set, but even the sentiment, you'll be like, really, that sentiment is from there. Now this is really cool about this. I'm actually going to leave, you know, if you're a perfectionist, you might not be able to handle this, but I'm going to leave these bits here that are a little bit sort of faded, and you can even do it a little bit if you wanted to on the actual piece, sort of, you know, rub a little bit off, because it just gives it that real vintage sort of accent to it, which is a nice look. If I wanted to add it so that it's perfect, I just go back in and add more powder, but I don't want to. I want it to be vintagey. So now we just heat emboss that powder. Look at that, so beautiful. Especially on this Blackberry Bliss, oh my goodness, it pops so much. There we go. Looking amazing. So pretty. So now we'll just glue it all together. The fun bit. I like to do all my layers first and then the gluing, but if you wanted to, you could do partially, put it all together, because once this layer was done, you could have put these three together no problem and then kept working on this part, but totally up to you. Okay, so got some Tombow here. I like the Tombow glue, the multi-purpose, because it gives me some room to wiggle, particularly when you're dealing with smaller layers like this. You know, you're not necessarily going to be able to line it up perfectly right away with the adhesive glue, and this just allows me to sort of move it around a little bit until it's in the place that I want it to be. In the front. There we go, all lined up. And then this one I'm going to put on, use dimensionals to just lift this and just create a little bit of dimension and fun. Oh, that's beautiful. Jessie's going to love this. Jessie is such a Blackberry Bliss girl, and Rich Raspberry. She loves it. Look at me, I'm like, where are you, dimensionals? I've got 7 cards over here. Here we go. Oh yeah, there they are. Ah, they were back where they belong. That's a first. I couldn't find them because they were where they were meant to be. It's a new Kylie. I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm actually putting things back where they should go. My mum only told us every single day for our whole life while we're at home, just put it back where you got it from. Is it that hard? Who had the scissors? Sorry, Mum. 5 children. Oh my goodness, I don't know how she did it. Superwoman, that one. There we go. Oh, this is beautiful. What a gorgeous card. Gorgeous. Now we'll do our inside piece. So I'll just get some of the, what one will I use? I think Blackberry Bliss. Oh, actually, I think it'd be nice to contrast it with the Rich Razzleberry. Get some of my chamois. So good for cleaning. You don't think it's going to do anything, or you think it's going to make itself dirty, but it's like it's the best. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I'm glad I did Rich Razzleberry. Perfect. And we'll glue that down. Now you could do the same thing on your envelope, of course. I've just put my hand in the Rich Razzleberry somewhere, but that's okay. It hasn't gone anywhere. And then we'll stick this down. Perfect. Voila. Now let's put some dimensionals. I like my pearl ones. Let's see if we've got some pearl ones here. I like having them all here. Maybe they, no. Oh, I need to use those copper stars. I haven't used them yet. Oh, these are pretty too. Love them. No, I think my pearls, oh, there they are. I was like, I'm sure I've got the pearls here. Here they are. Piece of hair in here. I was saying it the other day. I'm like, I keep finding my hair all over the place in the craft room. It's all the adhesive everywhere. Oh, these are pretty too. Maybe I'll use the droplets. I do like these droplets. I think I'm going to do that. Even though this has like got the vintage look to it, I'm going to put these right in there because if I don't, they will officially go missing. Okay, how am I going to use these? Oh, so pretty. So I think if we do, I think I'll do it down here. Big one, little one, and then the big one up there. So pretty. I love it. Thank you so much for the inspiration, Jessie. I would never have gone for these colours, but I was like, I have to think of something different. Who can I think of that's going to inspire me to do a different colour? Jessie, I know what colour she loves. So there we go. That is all of our amazing cards. You can see now we've got 6 cards, 1 layout, same stamp set. Check it out, seriously. And they all just have their own unique little flair to them. All you need to do is just change up the colors and then just modify how you use the stamp, and boom, you've got yourself completely different cards, and yet they come together really quickly, because once you've got the layout, you've got like the main part of it. The layout is probably the key element, and then the stamp set, if you say to yourself, I'm just going to use the same stamp set, then you can create all of these cards really quickly and efficiently. Yay! So I hope you got a lot out of it, and if you have any questions at all, particularly about our card templates, please ask, because they're going to help you so much with creating quickly and getting ideas for your layers. It definitely helps. So thank you so much for coming by. If you live in Australia and you want to learn to craft, if you've never done card making before and you're like, oh my goodness, what is this woman doing? I want to know more. Then please ask me for a catalogue. We have beginners brochures. We have kits that are great to start with if you've never crafted before. Gives you all of the instructions and step by step, and then you can see how you go from there. But you can also join and get a big discount when you join. You don't have to sell, but we do have training to help you learn how to sell and make this a business. We all love to do something that we really enjoy, and to make a job out of something you love is really cool. But also, if you want to follow us, then please make sure you press the subscribe button and the little bell so that you get notified of when we have a new video, because they keep coming. We've got more ideas to share with you. So thank you so much for leaving comments too. We love your comments. We love your little thumbs up too. We really appreciate that. And we will see you very, very soon here on YouTube for another video. Bye. See you, everyone.